Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and you guys gonna love today's guest. As we started ethical stalking him, I think we need a better name. We realized that he's actually everything I wanted to be. He's better looking than me. He's taller than me. I hate him already. He lives in California. I don't even know what to say, but you guys gonna meet him right after this. Hello again. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And as I started this, I think you guys gonna really love today's guest. Not only does he talk about shifting, leading, and has not just an amazing message, which is living fully. And for me, I want to get a little bit more into that as we're doing. He's a former NFL player. He's amazingly above average good looking. Okay. He's taller than me. That's why I said I hate him already. But if you look at his life story, there's three amazing things. What he had to do to overcome to where he gets today, and we're going to talk about it today. And not only that, he shares that taking action despite fear, fatigue, and lack of support is one of the most powerful things you can convert into that. And after spending a few weeks stalking him, I think he's not just an amazing human being. He is the perfect guest for the Disruptive Chef Show. With that, Anthony, welcome to the Disruptive Chef Show.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to bring you everywhere I go and just have you introduce me before I get there. And now table 17 at whatever your restaurant's called is Anthony. That'd be good.
Now, full transparency, we were so excited in having you join us here today. And, we did this little ethical stalking thing. And I said, we need to find something about him, and I had my best guy on it. And he said something really nice about you. He also brought up two things, which I'm going to bring up later. I'm not sure if you know, but he was digging deep to find some stuff out about you.
Right, cool.
Anthony, before we get started, give everybody the cliff note. What is Anthony all about? Not just what is he all about. How did this whole thing start?
Oh man! So all about. I'm a man of faith. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a dog owner. And then beyond that, I'm also a coach, consultant, and speaker. I think all those things have to come first for me to be useful to the world and the other aspects to it. So we'll say that's my thing. How I got here, man. Life has an interesting journey for all of us. I'll say this as a precursor. There's a statement that I love now in my life that says, "Smooth seas never made skilled sailors."
Oh, love that. Very true.
I got a painting in my office over here I have. But now for me, it was like giving away into foster care at 3 years old, navigate that system for 11 years. It was very heinous, we'll call it. A lot of weird things and torturous and just crazy people. But eventually I was adopted by a very poor, all-white family, but we loved, like a lot of love in the family. And I learned a lot about life and navigating ups and downs. And I rebuilt myself from being this guy that didn't have any self-confidence. My own mom didn't want me, right, to become a guy that got a football scholarship, played in college. I don't know how far you want me to go, but I had a lot of things that I've navigated through. I think we could probably pause there to at least unpack maybe the first parts of my life. But the beginning of my life, my formative years, they were not very positive.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I think that's what really connected me originally as we started this conversation with you. My audience knows I have international adopted children. And the crazy thing is all the things you say about my parents, hopefully my kids say something about me. And for me also, it's interesting. You talk about this a lot, growing up in a intercultural family. For me, same thing. When I see my kids, I see my kids. I don't see Asian people or whatever other people see, So for me, I think that's the crazy thing about it. And for me also, and maybe we go a little bit deeper a little bit later when you talk about you have this one message which I totally resonate, and you called it success beyond knowledge. So where you mentioned that success isn't about gaining more knowledge or becoming the kind of person you would like to see, that it sparked a realization on the influence you have today. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a little duality also to the things you do, because there's a lot of knowledge that we all can consume, have access to now more than we ever have. And it becomes a interesting crutch because people, they have a sense of finality or a sense of accomplishment because they know something.
Yep.
And I don't believe that the knowing is the thing that gets you success. I think it's the doing. And it's also the behind the scenes who you are with what you know. So it's not the thing you know, it's who you are as a human with what you then know. Because there's some people that are very successful who know all the things, right? There are a lot of people who didn't know all the things, but also still got very successful. There
Yeah.
are also unsuccessful people who know all the things. And that's the dance is we run around life and I think the hardest part is those people who spent this time learning, absorbing all this kind of stuff, but don't have the outcome. And they see people who haven't done the same stuff having the outcome. They go, well, life's unfair.
Yeah.
Not that life's unfair, it's that in the run of life, you spent more time consuming and getting knowledge than applying what you had as knowledge to gain more wisdom. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is the knowing. Wisdom is the seasoning and the connections. It's like you get when we get older, you kind of see the connective tissue between information, and a lot of folks they don't get that because they don't apply the knowledge they have.
hmm I absolutely love that, and I'm not sure what you're talking about getting older.
Yeah,
You must. Yeah.
I'm feeling
Now,
it. I
my
get up in the
listen,
morning, like my back hurts when I put my shoes up nowadays. It's crazy.
my wife and I talk a lot about that. I was like, why is everything so much harder this year than it was last year?
Yeah,
And
right.
it feels like I need more help, and then I don't like any of it. But
Yeah,
there's a really strong message you have is the around the power of movement. You share
yeah,
that moving forward, regardless of any support, is pivotal. So,
yeah.
talk to us a little bit where that come from, and
Yeah.
how can our audience implement that?
Yeah, it's funny is I was just watching something last night where someone had like a horrible game, they had a great game. It was the TV
Mhm.
show Quarterback, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
a series, yeah, where I think it's the Lions quarterback Goff. I think he had a bad game, 5 picks. They still won the game somehow. The next game, he came back and set the record for 647 yards in the stadium, so record for the team. And it's like all of a sudden he's great again, right? And I go, the
Mhm.
winning's a big piece. And so when I say the motion, the motion in of itself it's not the key, it's the motion until you win,
Yeah,
because at the base of it, like, you can be in motion and not win, and you go, should I be moving, maybe I should stop, change direction, or you just don't do anything. But the
yeah.
people who keep moving are the ones that eventually, because you're going through, you learn something every time you fail, but eventually they win. And then a couple things
Mhm.
become humongous assets for them. The first one is a sense of achievement, accomplishment. I got this, right? I'm
Yeah.
so proud of myself. The second one is the ability to reach that point.
Mhm.
Like that's the thing. Most people don't have faith in the ability to reach that moment of just a success and achievement. And so they start a lot of things, but never finish a lot of things. And they start to get in that loop of stuff and they question their ability. And I say this, a lot of people question their purpose because they lack the progress. But you
I
can't
actually
have progress
love
without
that.
motion.
I love that. And for me, also, you talked earlier about, hopefully people learning something from their mistake, because there's this whole belief out there that there's most of the people, 90 something percent, live the
Mhm.
same 6 months for the rest of their life,
Really?
because hey, it wasn't me, or you know what, that was somebody else's fault. They
Yeah.
never look inward. So,
Mhm.
how do you take that message and in what you do today to kind of convert that? Because for me, I think the hardest thing for people is to realize who they actually are,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the hardest thing to pivot away from that. So, how do you work
Yeah.
with that?
Well, there's a statement that goes, it's hard to see the label when you're inside the jar.
hmm I
So a
love
lot of
that.
people, you're right, they do not see themselves. So what they do is we run our lives. We just do our thing. We're get up at the same time, do the same stuff, approach
hmm
life the same way, same perspective, same optimism, same pessimism. We just make excuses, same stuff, and then we get the same outcome. And the reality is if you want to change the outcome, you have to change you. And we've all heard this. This isn't new information. I approach it from a stance of identity. That's really where my work comes into play,
Love that.
which my definition is who you are when you're not thinking about who you are.
hmm
How you show up, what you do, how you live your life.
So that makes sense because you talk constantly about letting go of that guy identity,
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
can you talk
I
to
guess
us a
hold
little
on.
bit about that? Is
Yeah,
because for me, listen, you did stuff most people never even think about
Yeah.
doing. You were in a situation when most people never have the opportunity to get into. So where or how hard is it for you letting go of that guy identity?
Well, the thing is, you don't let go of it immediately. You replace it.
Hmm.
And the way you do it, so first off, let's just put the base here. We all have an identity that's running our lives right now. It's just it's the operating system of the computer that is us, right? It's just running and doing what it's doing, and it's not aware of what it's doing. It's just aware of the outcomes. I have something, I don't have something, but it doesn't realize it's the cause of stuff. What happened for me was I was able to realize that the emotion I would go through, things I would do, it rewired me a little bit. It made me see different things. Like the truth of the matter is there's going to be moments in time we all show up to where there's some part of the plan to take place, and the
Hmm.
old identity, it grabs a hold of us and it pulls us back and it goes, no, 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 don't do that. That's not who you are. What if you fail? It's going to be difficult. You might lose some money. Like, and it starts to pull us
Hmm.
back. But the truth is what you want is going to happen when that you tear, I'm saying rip the old, like you from the old identity, like rip you out of it. And so it happens in the moments, the decisions, those actual little like moments in time. You go, do I want this? Yes. Do I have to do this right now? Yes. Will I do it?
Hmm.
Yes. Because if you say no, you fold back into being the old person you were. You say yes, you step forward a little bit and try something new. And it's uncomfortable. And it's a dance and it's not easy. You don't even win at first, right? You just have to find out how to make this work. And so for me, it's like I have to replace that old identity with a new one by actions. Because the old identity, the current one keeping me here,
Yeah.
it's here because of the actions I take. The way to replace it's by taking different actions.
I love that. And there's a few different, ideas out there. So for me, a lot of the things you said is what Tony Robbins always talks about. There's one decision which totally shapes the rest of your destiny.
Yeah.
But you make it sound so easy. Kind of getting out of it who I am. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you are getting pulled back in.
Yeah.
So if you are in that position and listen, I think we all been there. I'm still
Yeah.
going through it now because I always think I. So full transparency, I went to. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. So I went
Yeah.
to one of his UPW just a few weeks ago, and one of the
Awesome.
things he talked about was doing things backwards. So now for
Yeah.
me, I used to drive around and then to the second route. Now I take a road differently, and
Yeah.
so for me, I'm thinking, am I doing it differently because he said so, or is it different because I'm becoming a different
Yeah.
person? And
Yeah.
kind of going, having that fine dance. But for me, any step is better than doing the same thing all over again. Because for me, there's nothing more scarier than knowing when I'm on my deathbed and saying, hey, I wish I would have had played NFL. I wish I would have been a coach. I wish I would have done. I never did any of that because I was afraid of it.
Yeah.
So how do you work through that?
Oh, afraid's a different conversation. So if you're afraid of something, in my opinion, usually the fear is the one that's you have to unpack with this. And I don't think there's acronyms to it. You can make some up. I'm just not a
Mhm,
fan of doing that. Usually it's this unknown. I'm
mhm.
afraid of the unknown. The thing I have to do, I look at it like it's a big black dark cave. And
Yeah.
in my head, I go, that cave, 100% has a monster in it. When the reality is caves also hold treasure. And so
Mhm.
what I do is I go, oh man, I heard this the other day. I love this. Someone said, I wish I knew this person's name, but they said, unsuccessful people, no, we'll start with successful. He says, successful people, they trust their vision, they doubt their fears.
Mhm.
Unsuccessful people trust their fear and doubt their vision.
I love that. I love that.
And I was like, man, that makes so much sense. And so for me, I look back at my life and I go, you know what I did is I had a vision of what I wanted to do. And I don't know if I would say that I trust the vision. I just didn't like the direction that fear would take me.
Yeah.
I didn't like the path that fear ended on. And so if I took this fearful thing and went down that path, there was no definitive that was going to be better. I just knew that I wouldn't be, risking something. So I go, let me go chase this thing that has my heart attached to it, the vision of what I see. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's scary. But then the thing is it gets less and less scary because you go into that cave with the flashlight. You start
Mhm.
pointing it around. You go, oh my gosh, there's no monster in here. And you start realizing that you've done it a bunch of times. You go, oh, you know what? There's like 90% of these things, there are no monsters. And the ones that
Yeah.
are in there, I can kill it. So the idea is I've learned over life to just push into stuff. And most of the time, the precursor for me knowing I should pursue it is the fact that I'm scared of it.
Mhm.
because the only reason it's scary to
Love
me is
that.
because it's important. My life's important, the money's important, the situation's important. If it's not important, I'm not scared of it. Like if you were like, "Hey, I want you to go outside right now and give a dissertation on the reason that the moon, has certain distance from the Earth," I'd be like, I don't know anything about that, and they go, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." I don't care because I know that I don't know this. I don't have fear around it. That's not important in my life. But
Mhm.
if you're like, "Hey, I want you to give a perfect keynote to, I don't know, Apple. You have 45 minutes and don't mess it up." Okay, now I'm a little, because that's my realm of expertise. I
Yeah, yeah.
speak a little bit fearful, right? So the idea is, I think the things that we have that scare us, it's a big like notification going, this is important. But the more you lean into it, the better you get, the more awareness you have, and it gets less and less scary. And so,
Mhm.
like, there's things like this podcast, my guess, no guarantee. My guess, the first episode you recorded, not that you were scared, you were probably a little bit like, "Oh, I want to make sure, I want to get it right. I want to mess it up, right?" And you get this deep into it, you're like, "I got this. Let's go." And it's fun. But most people will skip episode one. They want to get to episode 300. And it's like, no, you got to go one straight through. But that's the journey of
Mhm.
eliminating fear and replacing it with joy.
I love that. And by the way, there's so many things you said that's so powerful. So I think any of our listeners, if you have time, go back 3 minutes and listen to what you just said, because for me, that's just really, it's a really good metaphor for life. Because how many times do you go somewhere, you're afraid of it, and after you look at it, it's just, it wasn't really that scary. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also for me is the pressure you put on yourself, because you should be good for that Apple speech. And you know what? If I screw it up, whatever. And for me also is what you said about us, our very first episode, our listeners know, I took a friend of mine, I brought him on. Okay. He started out halfway through it. We did, by the way, at the time we were live. Okay.
Mhm.
He comes on, loses internet. Okay, he comes back on. He's starting over again. He
Yeah.
loses sound. It was terrible, and I
All
was
of it.
like, I just saw it's such a confirmation. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Um, and now we 200 plus episodes into it, and for me now I'm thinking, how can I get the most value out of your
Yeah.
brain for our
Mhm.
listeners? Because I know there's one thing you say, it's going to resonate with 50, 60, 80,000 people, and they have a total different outcome because they listen to you.
Yeah.
And so for me, now I look at this almost as it's my responsibility to get value out of the conversation with you, to have them grow. Because for me, we always laugh. I have create written on it because we're creating conversation. And
Yeah.
what I learned more than anything else is what you just said: when you're afraid, you don't communicate.
Mhm.
Okay. And I always said, sometimes I'm sitting here, and what I love about the podcast, there was times I didn't want to do it, and I needed to do it because I made a commitment.
Yeah.
I honestly, fear is one of those things. What fear doesn't like is action.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and therefore, if you have these conversations, and for me, speaking of that, how did you ever make that transition from NFL
Yeah.
to identity coach? Because you
Oh,
were really
yeah.
good in that high level professional sport.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? Because you talked about this very early. You talked about it. That you are afraid of what people are going to think of you. There's a
Oh, yeah.
former NFL guy, and now he's speaking about as a coach.
Oh, this
So,
might be a dumb jock. Yeah, I thought that people were gonna look at me like I was just dumb idiot, and I'm not gonna lie, like it took a lot of years to overcome that. But I will say this: when I first came out, the issue wasn't whether I could become an identity coach; it was whether I could
mhm,
be anything beyond the past identity.
mhm.
That was my
I
biggest fear.
love
It's like
that.
I was a football player. Like that was
Yeah.
my thing, right? I'm the guy, and then I can't do it anymore. It's like, what value do I bring to the world? And I lost sight of the intangibles I developed in my life. I lost sight of the value of how I saw the world, how I showed up to work, how I organized my day, how I navigated conversations. And so I had to step out of the realm of comparing myself to the football guy and go, well, where can I use these tools elsewhere? And it
Mhm,
positioned me to like fix my own life. I built a gym business, fixed my marriage, like I did a whole lot of cool things there. And the work I do now, when I was living my life, the intention wasn't to live a life in a way that I could teach from. That was
mhm.
not the goal. My goal was to live my life. Later on, I noticed, and other people noticed, there was teachable concepts with the way that I'd lived my life.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't even know what I had done. I've had to read so many books go through stuff from psychology and neuroscience, and just to get an idea of, oh, that's what I was doing, from at least some areas that people have studied certain segments.
Yeah.
And the beauty is, when I look back at me, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to, to make myself right, or it is what I've always done. Look at what the next step looks like, and pursue it. And I don't do this. I don't look at the next step and go, do I want to do that? That's not the question. It's, what's the next step? Is it to launch the podcast, to be a speaker, like whatever it was? And I go, well, my heart feels like that's it. Let's go. And so I would pursue things that were out of my normalcy. For example, what I do now as a speaker, I do speak for the Amazons, PayPal's, Chick-fil-A's, T-Mobile's, Best Buy's, big companies, right? When I first decided to start speaking, I was horrible. I couldn't get paid to do it. My own wife and best friend, both of them were like, stop this. It's not a real career. Not going to work. And I go, oh no, because my heart goes, but I see other people doing it. If they can do it, I can do it somehow. And so I didn't identify with being the best in the world, but I was like, can I do what they do? What do they do? They film videos each day. Okay, I'm gonna do that. What else do they do? They obviously practice keynotes. I practice a keynote. What else? They write keynotes. I write a keynote. They do a podcast. I'm gonna start a podcast. Like, so I would find out what they're doing and then do it. And in the beginning, you are not good at it. It's just the nature. You got to pay the price. But the more you do it, and the more you pay attention to trying to improve, the more you notice things. If you let your ego take a break, the ego's got to go away, so you can open yourself and go, oh, you're right, I need to do that better. Take the insight, fix it, boom. Now, like, I'm teaching my youngest son right now, who doesn't want to admit he needs help ever, to go, dude, the strongest people I know are weak enough to ask for help when they need to be. They're strong, but they're able to be weak and go, please help me, because they know that once they know what to do, they can bring their strength back to it and succeed. But if you are so strong that you can't, that you're actually at the same time weak because you can't ask for help, you're not going to be successful at the level you can be. So it's been a dance.
No, I absolutely love that. And again, to our listeners, there was 5 things in there you just said they need to remind and listen to this again, because I honestly feel, if you want to break it down into 3, I said there's 3 things you need to do to get yourself out of your comfort zone. Because as my friend came to me and said, Christian, you need to be the show, not the commercial. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? I have no idea, He said, you need to do a podcast. No. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the sound. We've been 200 plus episodes and I still don't like the way I look and the way I sound. But what we do after every episode, what worked, what didn't work, how can I provide more value to the customers? That's my primary focus.
Yeah, smart.
And for me, doing this, I think made me a better speaker overall. The second thing you need to do when you do a podcast, because my marketing person said to me, Christian, how about Fridays, just you? I was like, that's a terrible idea. What am I going to talk about, And actually sitting there and just ranting on for 20 minutes was the single best thing you did. I also think anybody needs to go out there and speak, because when you stand in front of, 200, 300, or maybe even 5,000 people, you will think about that. Somebody's told you once, more people are afraid of speaking than of dying. Okay. Because they know, so the whole thing. My very first speech, like you, I sucked at it. I'm still not good at it. I'm still working on it. And the final thing is, I always tell everybody, you need to write a book, because a book is that way. If you honestly write a book about the things you learned, and by the way, if you overcome something or overcame something or you have something, I think you have a social responsibility to teach other people. And when you write that book, just sitting there knowing that you're going to put it out there, people are going to judge you for it. I think everybody needs to write a book. So the 3 things: you need to do a podcast or something where you speak to somebody. You need to go out there and speak to somebody like you do, as a coach or a public speaker. And you need to write a book, because any of that is exposed on who you are. And it's going to make you a better version of it. And for me, you talk so much about the identity shift in action. Can you talk to us a little bit? What was the first step someone has done for you, or where you felt stuck? Talk to us a little bit when you talk about identity shift in action. What does this actually mean?
So for me, I want to make sure this is really clean for folks. So an identity shift is not a change in who you are. It's small shifts over time. You also have to keep in mind your identity is different and it shows up different in different settings. The way I am with you is
Mhm.
not how I'm with my kids, with my clients, with my wife, right? It has to be different. Same
Mhm.
person, all right? So it's understanding what area you want to show up in and then analyzing how you are in that space and how you want to shift it. Let's say,
Yeah.
for example, I want to be a better business owner for whatever reason. I would go, okay, great. Let me take a look at the identity of the business owner. Do I listen? Do I have mentorship? Am I investing in myself and my team for growth? Am I optimizing for my clients? Am I trying to make their day better? Like, what does that look like? In all these areas, you got to take a look and go, okay, cool. Here's where I want to be better. Now I step back and go, well, what habits, actions, and patterns, what identity will make that happen? And that's a deeper dive, but then when you unpack the identity, find habits, patterns, actions, optimism, pessimism, mindset, it's all in there. And you have
Mhm.
to analyze it and go, okay, great. I lack in this area, here, here, and here. I
Yeah.
really got to build that up. How am I going to build that up? Well, you don't just wake up one day and go, I'm better. You have to experience something. You have to build, you have to go through something. And so what I recommend is when you find out what those I call them identity gaps are, you
Often.
create a container
Mhm.
of actions. You create what I call it an experience. I call it a dark work experience. So dark work for me is my brand. It means it's the work you do in the dark that lets you win the light. It's the things you do when no one's watching, no one's cheering, you're the only person celebrating you. What do you do when no one's watching over time to where one day two things happen? One, you
Mhm.
accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, and two, you embody and in your soul, your core, you are that identity now. You are that person. You think like that, function like that, so much so that when you try to put yourself back in the old you's head, it feels like the shoe doesn't fit anymore. You
Mhm.
think different, you process different. Like if someone cuts you off in traffic, you respond differently now. When somebody says something rude in an email, you respond differently. Like you don't even feel the same triggers because you're a different human. That human gets to live the life you desire. And until you're willing to make these shifts, that
Love
life's going to be out of reach.
love that. I love that. So you heard us saying a lot about us kind of going deep on we wanted to learn about you. And for me, I was so fascinated how you are extremely good as an NFL player. You're extremely good in what you do now. I was like, where did that come from? And
Mm.
knowing that you majored in pre-computer information science,
At one point, yeah,
not kinesiology or performance
yeah,
science,
that's changed. Yeah,
how did or where did Anthony learn the things
this
you're
stuff.
talking about today?
Uh,
And,
I'll tell
and where
you.
did they come from?
So I started out with computer science was going to be my thing, and I did not love the journey of the classes. I then did transition to kinesiology, biology, anatomy, human physiology. So my
Mhm.
degree was in that. But then I got done, and now I do something which essentially is communications. Right, it's a whole different thing. And the reason I do that is I've realized that we have one time on this planet, man. At least I believe that. I'm not a reincarnation guy. We got one crack at this, and I want to find my purpose. Now, this is going to serve, I hope, your audience really well to hear this, because
Yeah.
when I understood this has opened my life up amazingly. When we're kids, our life perspective is this: so much is possible. As we get older, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter to where all the things I do and I don't do make it to where my vision of life is honed in. I don't see the
Mhm.
experience, coolness of it, and I go, but what if my purpose isn't in this scope? What if it's up there? How do I get up
Yeah.
here?
I love
And so
that.
what I found was that's what I believe my purpose is, but I believe we earn the purpose. And here's what it is: the purpose is found while walking a path. You take action. We've already mentioned that. But
Mhm.
here's how the path starts. I believe the path begins with curiosity. What am I curious about? What can I lose myself in and spend hours without counting the hours? Like you may scroll through social or find something and you're reading a book and you're watching these videos and you're loving this, right? Where like the hours melt away. And then something happens because you're investing time, you get what's called your investment bias. As humans, the more we give to something, the more we believe we deserve from it, or we get stuck
Mhm.
in this space. Because I've done this for so long, I got to stay here. That
Yeah.
investment bias leads you to a place where if it's based on curiosity, you develop a cool passion for it. Like
I
I
love
love
that.
seahorses because I've been researching them. I found this out. You tell your friends about it. Your passion. They call you the seahorse guy now, right? Whatever it may be. But you get this passion, and I think what you're doing is you're walking this path, while of passion. Because most people don't, by the way. Most people don't chase the curiosity. They shut it down. Most don't pursue a passion because it's fearful. But
Yeah.
when you chase the passion, I think you stumble into the pothole of your purpose.
Yeah. I
And I
love
think
that.
that is when you say, how
So
did I
good.
get to where I'm at now? I've always looked at life as like, this is a game I'm playing, man. I beat the statistical odds of a foster kid. 75% of prison inmates in America are former foster kids. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
supposed to be doing what I do. So I go, man, I'm going to live this life to the fullest. I got one of them. What am I curious about? And when I get curious about something, I spend time on it. I look into it. I pay attention to it, even if it might change the entire trajectory of my life.
Mhm.
And I get passionate. And then when I'm passionate, I start trying things. I meet groups of people. I read the books. I go engage, and all of a sudden, I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I've done that a good 3 or 4 times. I went from football to a gym to consulting to now I speak. And I
Mhm.
don't know what else on planet Earth I'm supposed to do. Now, I am still curious. I'm very passionate about what I do, but purpose-wise, this is what I do. I'm built for this. I love this. And the thing is good is it's so congruent with me because I am not a guy, like I don't have anything to share more than what I know. I don't
Yeah.
try to reach out and step beyond my realm. I don't believe you should be telling people how to run any races until you've crossed those finish lines.
Mhm.
So for me, I talk about my wife, my kids, my identity work because I've done these things. But I'm not going to be the guy that goes, here's how to make $1 billion. Here's how to get, the latest Ferrari. Like, I don't know, whatever you want to do. It's just, I'm not going to talk about that. But what I do talk about, I know intimately. And if somebody goes, oh, well, you don't know this. And you're right. I don't know that. And that's
Mhm.
completely okay. You want to talk about this? Let's rock. So much so that when I even work with my clients, like I teach people how to run their speaking businesses in a separate company I have. And I let them know, I go, if me and you sat down and we started talking about your profession, I would immediately become a child. I do not know what
Mhm.
you do. But when we talk about taking what you do and making it a business for speaking, I become the professor. And
Yeah.
it's okay for that to happen, but that's supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to know all things, but I got to know my thing well. And that's what I've done. I've leaned in.
Love that. No, for me, it's that whole idea when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And for me, that's so powerful. And for me also, I, I love when you talk about your background and all the stuff you did. And so I know a lot of our audience knows that you competed in the American Ninja Warriors.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah, I
think
did.
only a few of them know that you were the first former NFL athlete to ring that buzzer
Buzzer.
bell on
It's true.
Road 9. Can you talk to us a little bit how that
Well,
went?
so you look at Ninja Warrior. Essentially it's built for like 5'8" rock climbers who have no lower body and great grip strength. So I'm out
Mhm.
here, 225-pound former NFL linebacker. I'm not even a lightweight. Like I got a heavy lower body, and so I was out there. They brought me on because the TV show is really based on story. They love the stories. It
Mhm.
does help if you're good at the apparatus, but it's not a normal thing
Yeah,
to take place. So previously, I don't think any football player had gotten past 2 obstacles.
correct.
And the,
Yeah.
fir- the first one
Mhm.
is 6 obstacles. And so I got up there. I almost went out in the first one. Like it was all nerves. But then I got through. I got to the fifth obstacle, and it was crazy. I got through it, ran up the wall, hit the buzzer. It was crazy cool. But yeah, so much so that after the fact, I get off, I get down from the wall, and my wife's there, and the producer comes up and he goes, how did you do that? Like completely surprised, like, how did you do that? And I go, I don't even know. He goes, well, it was good. So it was great TV as a whole spiel. But yeah, definitively, like it was not expected. But here's what I do. I tell people, even that situation, I did not walk into that moment with my head going, oh my gosh, no football player's done this. You're probably
Yep.
not going to do well. My head was like, I can't wait to dominate this thing. Like I give myself that vision when I pursue new things because I know that I am never going into it alone or naked. I always have tools from other parts of my life. And if I don't give myself the perspective of you have tools and I'm not going to use them and I'm not going
Yeah.
to succeed. But I'm like, bro, I'm
I,
going to try anything. I'm going to do it.
I love that. So, by the way, if any of our listeners wants to get, just go in season 9, American Warrior, and and you type in winner. So that's how I found you. So I went on our good friends over at YouTube. So
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did he just do that?
I
And
don't
then,
know.
by the way, it looked so effortlessly. I was like, I don't like him already anyway. I hate him even more because it was like he's been doing this all your
It was
life.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
It was amazing to watch. And I'm not a big American Ninja Warrior kind of guy, but
Yeah.
as we knew you were coming on to our podcast, I said I need to watch that. I showed it
Mm,
to my family. I showed it to my friends,
it's cool.
and I was like, what do you think? Did this guy do this before? And everybody, he do this full time? No, it's,
That's my
from your
first time
background.
doing it.
it was
That was
absolutely amazing to
thank
watch.
you. Yeah, it was
And
fun.
it was very, very cool. But more cool than that is, I think there's one thing which made me fall in love with what you do. And you talk about this all the time, that you say, hey, dinner with my wife and kids is
Yeah.
like winning the lottery every night.
I was
And
chilling.
for
Yeah,
me, I talk about it gives me the goosebumps, because for me, family is just really important. And here you say that,
same.
and I know that you sincerely mean it. How
I do.
did that simple ritual help you in not just shift your identity, but
Yeah.
have you, for me, like I said, I have goosebumps talking about it. So for me, that's just so important, because it
It
shows
is.
who you really are, what is important to you, and what you go after. So talk to
Well,
us a little bit about that.
a couple things. Well, my ex-wife and I first we were married in high school, or no,
Mhm.
we were together in high school. Got married after college, had our first kid in college, came back from the NFL, and then I got divorced. We were divorced for
Mhm.
3 years, got remarried. We're going on, I think we're at 9 years, I want to say now. And it was a long journey of like 3 years of just kind of figuring myself out. But one of the big reasons why it fell apart was I was focused on building me, building
Yeah.
Anthony, right? I lost the NFL, so let me go build this amazing big gym. So I kind of, not kind of, I did neglect my family. I wasn't home. I was trying to build this thing. I was telling them it was for them, though. Like, I'm building the business to support us, but it was really for me to feel good about myself. And I lost it all. And so when it came back around, that 3 years was what I call a dark work experience. It rewired
Yeah.
me to see who I was as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, what life I wanted to live. Because here's what I noticed: I was single. I'd go on a stage, I'd talk. Everybody loves you. You go
Mhm.
home by yourself.
Yes, and that.
It's it.
Mhm.
It's just you there. And like, well, then it's so short lived, that feeling of a high. And I go, no, 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 this isn't going to be my life. So I have more of a desire to be home with the people who love and care about me. Yeah, they poke and they prod, 'cause that's family, but they love me, you know. And so I love being on stage and doing my thing, and the handshakes and the high fives. But I know when I get home, that's where I spend more time in my life. And so like the table thing, in the beginning of us doing, we got back together. I didn't do a sit at the table stuff. Like growing up, we didn't sit at the table. We didn't even have a
Yeah.
table. We could sit, just, it was dispersed. It wasn't the same anchor. My wife, though, she grew up in that environment. So like we'd have dinner, and I found myself, honestly, at dinner, I would get up, I would wander around the table because I was uncomfortable sitting there.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like 9 years ago, I was uncomfortable sitting in a seat, and now I'm like, I love it. I sit there, I engage, because it lets me connect to like my lifeblood, man. Like the
Mhm.
way that I show out in the world, even now talking to you, it's because there's peace in my home.
I
The
love
the
that.
lack of chaos is like the most amazing fuel for service. And most people think like, oh, there's confinement in marriage. And I go, man, I'm the most free I am in a great marriage. I get to express and do my stuff and live. And I don't have to, tell someone who I am. I don't have to get validation of my feelings. I got people that
Mhm.
love and support me. Like, it gives me the best boost ever. And in that journey, it's allowed me to be able to face things that I fear better,
Mhm.
because if fear's the issue, it's like fear's like, what do I stand to lose, and what do I would not have? And it's like, well, if I know I got the people behind me here, and I'm not about to go broke out here, I may just lose some face, we'll call it. Well, I don't
Mhm.
care about the people going to judge me, because the ones that I care about don't judge me like that. Let's try it. So I
Yeah.
go do things, I do stuff, and those who may have bad words or bad thoughts are like, he's not really like that. I'm glad you perceive that. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about your thoughts of me, because my wife and kids know who I am, and those
Mhm.
close know who I am. And so I just function that way. And that's what allows me to over time take chances and build into a whole new identity, which creates a new experience for my life.
Mhm. I absolutely love that, and so resonate with what you just said, because for me that's really important. And we had this conversation before that we started the show. For me, um, being authentic at home,
Yeah.
and for me here being in my office and knowing that my kids come here just to hang out with me, they, in their own world, and they don't need to come here. For me, that's super important. And
Mhm.
for me, we do it 3 nights a week, and hopefully we're going to do it more often. Is what you just talked about. We said, hey, let's all eat dinner together. Hey,
Yeah.
what is really going on with you?
We do all
What's
the time.
going on in
Yeah.
them? And for me, I learned so much about my children. And not only that, it kind of sets the stage. There's no guessing game because I tell them, hey, I have this going on, this going on. I'm interviewing Anthony and all the stuff. And they were like, oh, cool. Who is he? And my son was like, hey, did you watch him on episode 9? I was like, what the hell is episode 9? And then, so he actually helped me search it up, my 14-year-old. And it's amazing for me. The end of the day, if you pull it all back, it's your family and friends. Nothing else matters. And for me, that's really what I absolutely love about you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Mr. Anthony Trucks, what are you currently focusing on? So that's a twofold question. What is Anthony focusing on, Anthony, to the end of the year? And what is Anthony focusing on his business to the end of the year?
So on the we'll call it the Anthony personal side, we're going to that stage of life where my wife runs Masters track. My daughter does track. It'll be indoor coming the end of the season. My youngest son plays football. He's coming into his sophomore year. He starts, I think, the first games in a few weeks. And then my oldest son's heading into his senior year for the hurdles at Houston. So the track people are going to be getting ready for their indoor. And and so I say that because I love to watch my family compete. It's fun to watch my wife. I travel with her as far as Sweden and all over the place to have her compete. I fly to my son in Houston and watch his meets. There's something about being able to watch my kids live these cool lives and experience stuff without the same hardships I had. Personally, also, I'm on a fitness journey. I've spent the last year getting dialed in. So I went from 240 to 198 and then back up to 225 the right way. And so now I'm at a weight of like 225 with abs, which is crazy. And that was not possible a year ago. But at the same time, I want to maintain this body and health and mobility. And so it's just, for me, it's getting to the end of the year. I'll probably actually start doing Masters track with my wife. So that way we share something together, and I'm able to be athletic enough to compete, but probably not be a champion. Like I could compete and be out there, but them dudes are fast. And I'm a linebacker, and I'm not a track guy like these guys. So that's my thing personally. Just stay healthy, enjoy the sports with the kids. Business-wise, it's dark work. We've always done keynotes for companies and workshops for companies. Always been like B2B. We're finally going B2C. We now have the ability and the tech and the coaches in place to actually serve people who are just the people listening. Like if they're like, hey, I want to optimize my identity for peak performance, we do that. We develop a dominator's identity through dark work. It's a process we've built. So that's my excited thing, is like, that's really the next stage of my legacy, we'll call it, to be built beyond my family, is like, what's the thing I will build that there'll be some kind of a name attached to it. And that'll be it.
That is awesome. Awesome. So with that, I want to say thank you for the conversation. I'm watching the time. I can talk to you forever. But before we go, if people want to know more about you, where can they find out? Where should they go to learn more about Anthony Trucks?
You go to anthonytrucks.com and or darkwork.com. You'll find the socials, Instagrams, Anthony Trucks. Everything else is Anthony Trucks. You can't miss me there.
Awesome. So, Anthony, before we go, we have this little ritual we call rapid fire question, food service edition. So we want to see if you're up for playing. So the way it works is I have 25 questions here, and we went high tech. So I went AI. I fed him all the stuff about you. I fed them into our system. We have 86 questions, and it spit out 25 for me. So I will ask you for a number. You give me the number. I read out the question, and I want you to answer as quickly as you can. Yes or no. We want to know why. So yes and no and why. So are you up for playing rapid fire question, food service edition?
Yep. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Give me a number between 1 and 25.
14.
14. Ooh. If it's not spicy enough to make you sweat, is it even good? Yes or no?
Yeah. And why? Yes. I'm not I like spicy, but not spicy where I can't taste the food anymore.
Okay. That's awesome because you actually posted something just recently on social media about spicy food. So we have to draw it in there. Give me a number between.
It'll make my stomach bubble. We get the bubbly guts doing some of that stuff. So it's okay. All right. Number 21.
21. Should every menu have a mystery dish? Just for shits and giggles. Yes or no, and why?
No, because I'm a plain Jane dude. I don't even eat seafood. So no, I don't think everything needs to. My wife would like that. But the mystery, I'm good. Give me chicken, give me steak. I'm good to go.
Oh my God, that's just so because my wife always makes fun of me. I will eat the same lunch every day. Really, no, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter. For
same
dinner,
thing. It's the same
yeah.
thing. All
I
right,
mean,
number four.
number four. If if a food couldn't be eaten with chopsticks, is it even worth try to eat it? Yes or no, and why?
Yes. My daughter's a big chopstick fan. I got her these chopsticks recently that have little hands at the bottom. They're called helping hands chopsticks.
Oh, I love
But
that.
yeah, and now I can use chopsticks, and I'm not against it. But yeah, I'm fine. Like it'd be hard to use chopsticks to eat a steak. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with using a fork sometimes.
Oh, awesome. I love that. Give me a
All
number
right.
between 1 and 25.
10.
Ooh, 10 is an oldie but goodie. Pineapple on the pizza. Yes or no, and why?
Yes, yes. It has to be the right company making the pizza because not all pineapple pizzas are the same. We used to have one. It was Mountain Mike's. Had this. It has this chicken luau pizza. It's barbecue sauce, chicken, cheese, and it had the pineapple. And that pineapple gave it a good like twist. And it wasn't like it was cooked pineapple, so sweet but
Yeah,
warm.
yeah.
So it worked.
I
It
love
worked
that.
together. Yeah, but other
That's good.
like a Domino's, nah, couldn't do Domino's.
Because there's a movement. Get the pineapple off the pizza. Okay, give me a number between 1 and
25. Let's
25.
go to 25.
25. Oh, should should restaurants start offering breakup meals on the menu just to make you cry or laugh? Yes or no?
Breakup
And why?
meals?
Yeah.
Breakup meals. Oh, no. Because I mean, you don't want to be known as a place where people take someone to break. Because then
Yeah,
when somebody knows about it, if they invite you to that restaurant, you're like, no, I don't want to go
that's my
there.
thing. Terrible question because you only get a customer once.
What? It's a wrap. Yeah, that doesn't make
Okay.
any sense.
Yeah, final number. Give me a number between
Final
1
number
and
7.
7. Would you cook with pajamas just to see if it makes your food taste better? Yes or no? And why?
Well, I would cook with pajamas, but it wouldn't be because I want to see the food taste better. I would just do it because I don't feel like changing. But yeah, no, I don't think pajamas would make the food taste better now.
And that completes rapid fire question,
All
food
right.
service edition.
Good to
Anthony,
go.
you did awesome.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so for me, I have 2.5 pages of notes here for you.
Cool.
And so for our listeners, so first off, let me know what did you connect with some of the things Anthony said. So please leave us a comment below. Also, in the show notes, I will write the 5 things or more I have learned from talking to Anthony today. So, Anthony, final questions for you. What was the best advice you ever gotten you never acted on?
That I never acted on. Ooh, that's a really good question. The best advice I got that I never acted on. Oh, you know what? So in launching my brand, and I don't know if it's right or wrong just yet. In launching Dark Work, one of my buddies says you should dump about a quarter to a half a million into making it like a whole kickoff, a live event. Sell tickets, get people there, and then let that be the piggyback for the coaching. Conceptually, I like it, but I did not have the gumption of the balls to go, I'm going to drop a half a million into a guess. So it's good advice. I think it makes sense, but I don't think I have the experience to make it work the way he could make it work. So
I
it's good
love
advice. But I didn't do it.
And that's really good. So, with that, I want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for the gift of your time. Thanks for spending an hour with us. And to
Yeah.
our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you write below what is a question or two I forgot to ask. Because today, Anthony did a few things. Okay, he brought heart, he brought grit, he brought hard earning wisdom to our table here. Okay. And he just reminded us that success isn't about chasing more, it's about becoming the person you are meant to be. So, with that, I want to say thanks for being here today. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the gift of your time. And also, thanks for everything you do. Because for me, if we can help you get some of our audience to come and kind of look into the wisdom you share, I think it's super powerful. And not only that, for me, this conversation just confirmed you're an amazing human being. And
Thank
if they
you.
do nothing else, then just following you because of you. And I really want to say thanks for this
I
today.
appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you.
And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, go and check out Anthony. Make sure you give him a little thumbs up on some of the stuff he does. Because if somebody talks to you about chasing dreams or something else, it's not about who you are, it's about who you're turning into. So with that, I want to say thanks for being here. I'm Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. I'm here with Anthony Trucks, and we are out of here. So that means we are signing off. So be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. With that, I want to say to Anthony, thanks for being here. And to our listeners, go out, everybody, and be disruptive.